Hey guys, welcome back to Crypto Clan. Today we'll be looking at a number of insights which may lead the ECB to use Quant's technological innovations. On the 2nd of December, the CEO and founder of Quant Network, Gilbert Verdian, tweeted details in regards to a recently released paper authored by the ECB detailing the intricacies of CBDCs within the Eurozone. The paper was titled Central Bank Digital Currency, Functional Scope, Pricing and Controls. The paper went into detail and provided insights into how private sector participants and innovators could leverage CBDCs for payment service providers. The paper also outlined how CBDCs will eventually play as a store of value and means of payment. Throughout the paper, the need for interoperability between future national CBDCs was mentioned in a number of instances. The paper also referred to how interoperability is required to connect CBDC payment infrastructure with legacy payment systems. A specific excerpt from the paper mentioned the importance of interoperability of CBDCs for future cross-border payments, suggesting that early considerations of this issue will maximize the benefits of CBDC for international payments. CBDC systems could be designed to interoperate to facilitate cross-border and cross-currency payments. The paper also indicated how CBDCs could be designed in a fashion which enables non-euro area residents access to the digital euro and overall improving cross-currency payments. The provision of CBDCs in this manner will open the digital euro to the global economy and in turn promote free market access and availability of the currency. CBDCs will go a long way in improving cross-border payment methods, whereby the leveraging of CBDCs will largely remove the number of intermediary bodies involved in payment processing. CBDCs will enable the seamless and proactive conversion of one national CBDC to another national CBDC, potentially through the utility of stablecoins, as promoted and suggested by the payment processor giant Visa, who referred to the development of the universal payment channel as a means of facilitating CBDC interconversion and, in extension, cross-border payment methods. Interoperability between likely DLT-based CBDCs could also interoperate through the direct connectivity of networks through the utility of an overarching platform. The need for interoperability between CBDCs, be it through stablecoins or the direct connectivity of networks, could be achieved through the leveraging of Quant's technological innovations, namely its multi-ledger token and overledger connectivity offering. Quant's overledger could provide a means of connecting CBDC networks synonymous with nation-states, namely due to overledger being the only technology on the market which facilitates interoperability between networks of varying backgrounds. Overledger will provide the potential to create gateways between networks of varying nature, which in turn will lead to the seamless transfer and exchange of datasets stored on respective CBDC platforms. This in turn will lead to central banks having the capability of sharing personal KYC details rapidly. The sharing of KYC details in a seamless manner will provide the potential to speed up cross-border payment methods, whereby KYC details innately linked to personal CBDCs will be shared between central banks by overledger when cross-border transactions take place. These characteristics will all but remove the need for intermediaries in payment actions, which is synonymous with current cross-border payment infrastructure. Furthermore, as stated in the paper, the ECB has highlighted improved interoperability amongst payment systems dealing in different currencies would be advantageous for cross-border payment systems. Stablecoin mechanisms could be utilized in the direct interconversion of different CBDC currencies. The utility of stablecoins will lead to lower transaction costs. The decline in transaction costs in this manner will be apparent, namely due to funds being passed through less financial bodies. This factor will lead to less expenses being exposed to payers and payees, thus deposits recipients receive will be more substantial. Quant's multi-ledger token stablecoin will act as the universal stablecoin and will enable the interconversion of fiat CBDCs in one step, as well as acting as a means of enabling the direct interconversion of CBDCs. Multi-ledger token will aid in providing transparency in payments, whereby MLTs used as the underbelly stablecoin in fiat CBDC transactions will provide an auditable record of the stakeholders involved in transactions. This will enable central banks and/or governments in different nations to be able to interact and determine the stakeholders involved in transactions when CBDC activity has occurred. The auditable nature provided by Quant's multi-ledger token, alongside the use of DLT technology when using CBDCs, will lead to the formation of a semi-decentralized network, which would be highly advantageous for central banks, especially when determining economic activity and the nature of transactions taking place. These factors may assist central banks in making better monetary decisions. Quant Network's first mover capacity and its patented characteristics will lead to Quant Network being the dominant DLT interoperability platform for the foreseeable future. This would be highly advantageous for QNT token holders, as increases in the utility of Quant Network, especially over the long run, will see increases in the value of QNT tokens, as well as the ECB potentially looking at Quant's technological innovations to provide CBDC interoperability. Quant's CEO Gilbert Verdian has illustrated how Quant could not only be utilized in the DLT sphere, but also legacy network developers. There are currently 200,000 blockchain developers and 25 million software developers. Quant's technological innovations provides connectivity to both DLTs and legacy networks, as well as acting as a frame to build blockchain apps such as multi-chain apps, which will see the utility of features associated with a number of DLT networks at a given time. The potential utility of Quant's innovation by both DLT and legacy offerings will broaden the horizon for the fintech company, which will ultimately see increases in transaction validation associated with Quant's native QNT token. This factor will ultimately lead to the depreciation of the circulating supply of QNT tokens, which in turn will induce increases in the value of QNT tokens and potentially leading to supply shocks over the long run. What are your thoughts on Quant? Will the ECB utilise Quant in CBDC initiatives? Let us know your views in the comments below. Thank you for watching the video. We hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to like, subscribe and click on the notification bell. Let us know your views in the comments below. Thank you for watching and we'll see you in the next video.